At some point in our lives, we've all been hurt. Think back to one of those times. How did you feel? When someone hurt me, I felt betrayed. I felt outraged. I wanted revenge, justice, to hurt him as much as he had hurt me. Justice, historically, has meant an eye for an eye. Many equate justice with punishment. Just look at our prison system. According to the ACLU, if our current US prison population were a city, it would be Houston, Texas, the fourth largest city in the United States. This population of 2.3 million is a 700% increase in the last 50 years. This is a system fueled by hate. We have to stop pretending that prisons are our only option. There is a better way to achieve justice. Take the case of Linda White, for example. Her daughter was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. All she could feel was pain and loss. All she needed was to heal. So she joined a group for parents of murdered children. This group sought revenge by advocating tougher punishments, such as parole restrictions and lengthy sentences. Linda even went on record as supporting lowering the minimum age for the death penalty. But she still felt furious and without closure. She realized that the justice of this group, and frankly the country as a whole, revolved around a hunger for punishment as opposed to healing. Linda ended up becoming one of the nation's strongest advocates for restorative justice. Restorative justice teaches that repairing the harm is the best way to move forward. It is a voluntary process where survivors, victims' family members, perpetrators, and community members all come together to heal. In practice, this is often through open dialogue about responsibility and reconciliation. And that's what Linda White did. In her attempts to cope, she began to research grief and loss and discovered the practice of restorative justice. Still suffering 14 years after the murder, she decided to go through a victim offender mediation. She spent over 100 hours preparing for this life-altering meeting. For 6 hours inside a prison chapel, she, her family, the man responsible, and a facilitator talked and cried. She found answers through the restorative process that the criminal system could not provide. She could never forget what happened, and nothing would bring her daughter back, but she was able to find a sense of peace and move forward with her life. It wasn't easy, and that's what stops so many from trying. They might think it lets perpetrators off the hook, but it doesn't. It just views accountability in a different way and understands the needs of all parties. Many wrongly equate restorative justice with forgiveness, but they're not the same. However, through the process of restorative justice, many are able to find forgiveness in a way that they aren't in the criminal justice system. But the criminal justice system is all we know. Is implementing restorative justice practices nationally even realistic? I am not proposing complete prison abolition in favor of restorative justice. I am proposing redefining the justice system to include restorative practices. In Rwanda, after the devastating 1994 genocide, they decided to implement their own grassroots restorative process, in addition to the International Criminal Court. The local courts decided that instead of imprisoning the lower-level perpetrators, they'd attempt to fill the voids that their crimes had created. For example, if someone had killed the breadwinner in a family, that person would bring the victim's family food every day. Not just in Rwanda, but states across the US are making great strides. 35 states have implemented laws that encourage the use of restorative justice. West Virginia has begun implementing restorative practices in the juvenile system, and states such as Vermont and Colorado have passed laws creating agencies to oversee these practices. Cities such as Atlanta, Georgia, Boise County, Idaho, and Oakland, California are pioneers in this method. And these initiatives are happening globally and nationally, but we must act locally. At Amherst College, we've focused on education by bringing cutting-edge scholars to campus. We've had David Karp a world-renowned expert on restorative justice in the college setting, and Shakti Butler, who created the film Healing Justice about the need for comprehensive reform. The college is also working to implement mediation techniques after disciplinary code violations. Over interterm, we brought in trainers to lead a pilot program. Students, express your support for these measures to your class senators. And to everyone, restorative justice can be a long and a complicated process, but it's tailored to the survivor's needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. We all can work on implementing restorative practices as we address conflict in our everyday lives and work to redefine what we think of as justice. So, the next time you're hurt, take that pain and that desire for revenge and channel it into repairing the harm, to heal through restorative justice. Thank you.